Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Rewind. We are finally back. I know it doesn't seem like much in the podcast world. There wasn't much of a split, but it's been 2 months since we recorded together, which we usually do every other week. I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jacob's over there, I'm over here. And when I say over here, I mean literally. The reason why there's such a big gap is because I moved across the country. I am now in Indiana. He's still in California, and he'll never see me. We tried to record. We wanted to. We had talked about it before, but you had a COVID scare when I was there in town with you.
Yes, but thankfully everything came back negative. So it was better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. And it would have been rough. If we got COVID on the trip, it would have been so expensive just to be stuck in a hotel for 2 weeks. So you're right. I was just being a little bitch. Complaining.
It's okay.
It's just I haven't seen you since 2018, so it's a bummer. But my plans are
I
to fly out there like every other year or something like that and stay with my sister and see you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Next time.
All right, so this episode we are continuing with the films of 1991. We're going to be discussing The Doors, Career Opportunities, Drop Dead Fred, and Thelma and Louise. Jacob, player's choice. What are we starting with?
Well, let's go ahead and get career opportunities out of the way. Again, Frank Wally. I'm like I couldn't remember who he was. Like he seemed so familiar. And then I looked at him. I'm like, wait a minute. Wasn't he the kid from? Wasn't he from Little Monsters? Didn't he play?
All the movies for you to pull, the Little Monsters. Yeah, he is. He's the bad guy, and you can't even really recognize him. I know him, of course, from another movie that we're going to be doing for this podcast, The Doors, where he plays Robbie Krieger. But he had a big cult hit called Swimming with Sharks, which, weirdly, he's the star, but it was Kevin Spacey that really broke out from that. And it's about have you seen Swimming with Sharks?
Sounds awfully familiar.
It's about an intern's first day at this movie studio as an assistant to a production head, and he is a complete and total fucking monster. Yeah, and he plays complete mind games with me. It's a dark comedy. Also, he is in I think it was the first sequence of Pulp Fiction. He's the one who has the key to whatever it is they stole from Marcellus Wallace. He's the one that keeps
it.
Yeah. What? Say what again?
Yeah.
Do I look like a bitch to you? What?
Marcellus Wallace looked like a bitch.
I can't wait to discuss Pulp Fiction. But
yeah, that was him.
This is his one shot at a studio film. John Hughes produced this. It didn't make any money. I remember though my age group was truly excited about this. The idea of being in a department store and just having fun, just doing whatever you want, and just horsing around. It's like a little playground for you, a little amusement park, and also the fact that Jennifer Connelly was pushed so hard in those trailers. And, as a 14-year-old boy, yep, that did the trick.
Easily. I mean, my God. I mean, she's still amazing.
Yeah.
I still love her work. You know what else he was also in, Frank Wally? He was also in Born on the 4th of July, The Freshman. That's right. He was
The Freshman, right. We just did that last year, or earlier this year on the show. The last thing I remember him being is, I don't know if you've seen this movie, it's called Vacancy, with Kate Beckinsale and Luke Wilson.
Wow.
Have you seen this one?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you usually don't go in for those kind of horror movies. Their car blows a tire on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. They walk to a hotel that's completely vacant except for them and Frank Whaley, who's the owner or the manager, whatever, and they film snuff videos there. Guess who's going to be the next victim? Yeah, and it's very strange because Ethan Embry and Frank Whaley are the bad guys, which you don't expect.
Funny enough, he was actually in a few episodes of Luke Cage.
Oh, I didn't really finish Luke Cage. I think I watched the first season, but I moved on from that. But let's get to the movie. So, career opportunities. Yeah. Both of us are ex-Target employees, and I usually call it the bullseye, but we're so far removed from that place we can talk about it now.
Yes.
That is not how a store is run at night at all. Complete and utter bullshit. Unless there's some weird small town thing that I don't understand, because they make a point that this is a town in the middle of nowhere, dead end. He's worked every single job there ever was, and he's been fired from every single job except for this one. And And so I worked at a Target in a small town back in '95, just for the brief spring period. And yes, I was let go because I was an insubordinate little ass. It took me forever to deal with that. But one night I was putting away bikes with a guy, and we're trying to put them on those hooks in the back room. You know, the one where you had to climb the ladder and put them on the hooks? I don't know if they still do it that way. I think they put them on the floor now, everywhere. Right?
I think they lock them up. Yeah, I think they fasten them in.
Right, that's it. Yeah, on the floor now they have that thing when you pull it down, put the bike in, it locks it in place. Well, they used to hang them from the ceiling and just have pictures of the bikes, and you would choose and have one come out. And the guy that I was working with heard that they were getting ready to close, close, like the employees' time to leave. And I was insistent on finishing putting away the bikes because I didn't want to get in trouble. So he left, and I had to do them by myself. And I come down the ladder, and I get my stuff, and I walk out the building. Turns out no one's there. No one.
Oh,
that could let me out, except for the cleaning crew. And I'm telling you right now, a store that big, that Target in Career Opportunities is big. No way does one guy do it. They have a crew of like 3 or 4 people come in. One does the machines, one does the bathrooms, one just cleans the carpet. And so there's always a crew together. You're never by yourself. That's just ridiculous. And what is it? Damn it, he's always a bad guy in everything. I know his fucking name. William Forsythe. He has a brief cameo in this where he tells them about he's locking him in or whatever, and I'm going to come back, whatever, and you better not fuck around. You're never going to be left by yourself. No way. Especially on your first shift.
Oh, God, yes.
No. But it's a movie,
Seriously.
So we just let it go. And I love John Candy in this when he realizes. So that's the thing is Frank Whaley is so good at manipulating and talking fast and conning and just slinging bullshit. And when he's negotiating his pay, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it for anything less than 36. And John Candy's just staring and goes, all right, you got it, or whatever. And then someone calls me like, well, who the hell am I looking at right now? Who am I talking to? And then he's like, we'll pay you $8 an hour. Shut up and get out. Okay, thank you.
Oh, God. Yeah, seriously. Again. Yeah, no, definitely bringing me back to the Target days. I'm like, oh my God, that layout hasn't really changed too much.
No, not really. Except for electronics. That one's changed a lot because, ditching physical media.
Yeah, of course, everybody's switching to digital. I mean, they still have a section of like all the new releases.
Yeah.
And they have it mixed in with the books and everything.
Yeah, and he grazes. He tells them, don't graze. And then he's just like taking chunks out. Like, he's leaving all the evidence behind, you stupid moron. If you're gonna do it right. Throw in the baler.
And then he. Oh God! Oh, I remember having to operate that thing a couple times.
Yeah, I do that all the time at my last job where I had to clean those out, and I have this nightmare of being tossed in there or someone shutting me in there, whatever, and turning it on. Ugh. So no one's ever used a baler in a horror movie. That's really good material right there. Oh.
Like, seriously, the potential's right there. It's staring at you in the face. Come on.
I think what I like most about this movie are the non-criminal story. Well, I like him and Jennifer Connelly just shooting the shit and having fun in the store. And I like his dad is being really nervous, and then her dad is really being nervous. They meet each other in the middle of the night eating at that little diner. What I don't like are the 2 idiot twins, Dermot Mulroney and his brother, I think Kieran Mulroney, play the criminals.
Yeah, the Mulroneys.
Yeah, I didn't really go for that part of the story. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh yeah, they seemed a little too oddball. Almost, they might as well have been the Three Stooges. But
it also felt like there was a need to throw in, and it was a kind of a curse in the early 90s. It always seemed like every comedy had to throw in some sort of violent criminal factor into it.
Right, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it didn't really... Yeah, I felt like it was somewhat forced, kind of like in European Vacation.
Yeah, that and White Men Can't Jump. There's enough going on in White Men Can't Jump. You don't need that B story of them being on the run from mobsters they owe money to or whatever it was. I can't remember.
Right, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Oh God. What is it? What's the right word I'm thinking of? Not debt collectors.
I can't remember. We're going to be watching it next on the next season. So the spring of '92 is one of the greatest comedy eras ever. '91 is a little bit weak on the comedies. I think this has this seems like the kind of movie that everybody found on HBO or USA, and that's how it gained its audience. It's not great, but it is entertaining.
Yes, and overall, again, from the point of view that it was talking, like, being young, you're already expected to like have like this particular plan in life, and especially considering his parents like wanted him to like not only be able to work and like fend for himself, but as far as like shoving education down their throat, like going to college and shit like that. Like, come on.
Yeah, we talked about that because I moved back after 18, 19 years, and I'm seeing people now that are like, "What are you gonna do now?" And it's just like, I don't know. Some of us never really know. I got out of college. There's no guide. There's nothing that tells you what to do after you graduate. You just fucking go. And sometimes it's the wrong direction, but they're like, oh, well, do this, do this, do this. I'm like, that's great in theory.
I know, exactly. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, you going to pay me enough to be able to sustain myself? I mean,
I got a 2-year degree from a lame-ass college. I cannot remember. Did you graduate? Did you go to college? I think you went for a little bit, right?
Center was a junior college for a few years, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so, the associate's degree is kind of like the GED of college degrees. People are like, yeah, you graduated from college, but it doesn't really mean a fucking thing.
I know, what was the point?
Yeah. Well, I had fun. I'll say this. I had
of course. I mean, but it's like, well, shoot, it's like out of context, that statement, what was the point? Basically, it's like when people are telling you to get this education and this and that, and then you get this degree, and then it's like, they're still only going to give you, like, so much. I'm like, seriously? It's like, now you want me to go back and do it again?
Yeah, and I hate the fact that, back to Target, is I was a team lead, and they told me I could never promote if I didn't have a 4-year degree, and I was like, well, what about all the experience I have? You're taking kids straight out of college with no experience, and you're putting them in the charge, and they panic, and they don't know what to do. I know what to do. And they're like, no, you still need a 4-year degree. I was like, you going to pay for it?
Exactly, I know.
School, though. I hate school.
Exactly, and it's like, and honestly, if you want me to, it's like, if you want to keep me, you're gonna have to pay me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I walk.
I think that's enough with career opportunities. What is our second film?
Our second film would have to be another Frank Whaley film, The Doors. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah,
this movie
is so epic. I mean, I had forgot. I'd only ever seen it once, but I was too young to really understand the nuance and intricacies of what was happening. I did not know that Val Kilmer was singing. I didn't know. He sounds so much like Jim, but apparently in the behind the scenes is that he could only pull that off like once or twice before he would just like completely strip his throat and he would have to stop for shooting for a couple days.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Of course, that's understandable considering like voice actors can go through that too, easily.
Yeah, and it's just a real tour de force. I'm trying to think: is this the last good Oliver Stone movie? Because I feel like everything. Well, there's JFK, but I haven't seen that, and maybe that one. But after that, I feel like he kind of fell off.
Yeah, there was JFK. There was I'm trying to think. Wasn't there another one? Oh yeah, there was
Heaven and Earth. Was kind of, well, you know what? I'm gonna erase all of this because I realize that I haven't seen any of these movies in forever. But
Snowden.
Yeah, I forget. No, I really like Nixon. I forgot because Anthony Hopkins gives a crazy ass performance in that. But Oliver Stone has always bounced between studios and independent companies. This is from Carol, and Carol was known for kind of giving big deals to woo directors and big actors into their studio. And, Oliver Stone really spent a lot trying to get this as accurate as possible. And he doesn't really cut any corners. This is epic in every way, because it's 2.5 hours. It really covers every single day from him to, starting his career to the end. This is the end, my friend, the end.
Yeah, okay. I'm just wondering, I know I think, if I remember correctly, I remember reading up on something, and one of the former bandmates of The Doors was listening to Val Kilmer, and he's like, "Oh God, no, that was spot on. Like,
yeah,
you don't need to dub his voice."
He really gives a very deep, burned into your mind. In my head, whenever I see Jim Morrison, I go, "Oh, that's not right. Oh, wait, right. Val Kilmer's not Jim Morrison."
Right. Yeah. No. Again, he does give it a hell of a performance. I know. I am curious though, like as far as the full-on accuracy of all these events. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. What was it? Not Krieger, because 2 of them worked with Oliver Stone and gave their approval, and that was what was required. Is you just had to have the majority vote.
Right.
Ray Manzarek, I think, is the one who didn't want to be involved. I can't remember now. But, yeah, one of them said no, and the other 2 vetoed that idea, so they got to say. But they said that the condensing of stuff, especially in the beginning, wasn't accurate. But it's also a movie. You got to tell the story in a entertaining way. Trying to get bogged down in every single accurate detail can really slow a story down. I've seen a lot of bad biopics that do that.
Oh, I know. That pretty much ruins the pace of the movie and like kind of derails it.
Yeah. Are the two, I guess, genres of, hey, this is based on a real story that usually work are music and boxing or some sort of fighting story. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, no, Raging Bull could definitely be a great example.
Yeah. Well, sports movies in general and music lend themselves to it. But trying to think. So with this we have Meg Ryan, who is kind of thrown away. Her performance may be the weakest.
Sadly, yeah, I felt like her talents were a little wasted.
Yeah, and her character's just tortured. But Kathleen,
God, yes.
Kathleen Quinlan is another one that was, her character's tortured by Jim. I think she was amazing. I think she's a very underrated actress that people have forgotten about.
Kyle MacLachlan,
yeah. Frank Whaley, Kevin Dillon, of all people.
Kevin Dillon, who was back. Oh, of course, he worked with him on Platoon, so kind of makes sense. But yeah, just seeing his obsession with death and all the supernatural stuff, it really is fucking nuts.
I still remember the parody of this in Wayne's World 2.
Oh yeah, the weird. Oh yeah, having the weird
naked guy.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's I think all around there's not a whole lot to say about this because it's so heavy into actual details, but I do think it's a magnificent performance. And my other co-host who does the action movies for 1991, this is one of his favorite movies. He was obsessed with it growing up, and I can see why.
Oh, absolutely, I know. And again, I've always kind of grew up watching Val Kilmer from Top Secret and Willow.
Yeah, Willow was the one, and we watched Top Gun a lot in our house. But we watched it as in my parents watched it, but I usually just went away because I'm not a fan of Top Gun.
Right. Oh yeah, there was Top Gun, and then there was also Real Genius. Of course, that was another one.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap here because after Willow didn't do that well, and he had done a couple TV movies before that, but then he did really small movies for a couple of years, and this was kind of his big showcase. But it wasn't until Tombstone where everybody decided now he's a star. He needs to be in big studio movies. So it's weird how long it took him to get there.
Oh, yeah, no, I am surprised. Jesus, knowing that. Oh, yeah, Tombstone, fucking Doc Holliday. One of the best interpretations ever. And Randy, it's a shame that him and Randy Quaid had to be play the same characters in two movies that
Dennis Quaid,
very identical.
Yeah, Dennis
Quaid.
Yeah, and both give magnificent performances. We're going to cover those too in 93 and 94 because I actually think Wyatt Earp is a great movie. It's just a different style of movie. It's old school, older kind of Western.
Yes. I know, and they released they're released at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah, 6 months apart. And Tombstone got there first, and it came out at Christmas. And a movie comes out at Christmas, it can really rake up the money. And frankly, it's more badass. It's a tension getter.
Oh, yes. No, it just builds up with that.
Yeah. Also, Tombstone cost $25 million. Apparently, Wyatt Earp cost $60, and that's ridiculous.
No, that's too much.
Yeah. All right, so our third film will be...
Oh, gosh. Wanted to get this one out of the way. Drop Dead Fred.
Just watched it.
Tone shift.
Holy shit, just watched it for the first time in ages. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was deeper than I remembered it being.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like as far as the deep part of this movie, especially when it gets to Phoebe Cates' mind, where her childhood is pretty much strapped down to the bed, she's been held back for too long, and that's why she's been so submissive.
Yeah, emotional trauma, just absolute emotional trauma, and this really. I mean, they sold it as this wacky, kind of a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Beetlejuice kind of movie. And there is a lot of visual cool stuff going on, but really what it's about is emotional trauma and how we deal with it as children and as an adult and people who ignore it. And there's so many layers just buried under the wackiness, and I think this is actually a really important film.
Absolutely, no, Rick Mayall as Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, he's wild.
Yes, and I'm here for every fucking second, especially that part where he gets his head stuck in the fridge and his head's all like flat and wide. Oh god, the little nicknames he gives to her mom.
Yeah.
Oh god, the mega bitch.
My favorite is when he slides under and he goes, "Look, cobwebs."
I know, seriously. How many takes did they have to go through?
Yeah, there's some risque stuff in this. There's a reason why it's PG-13, and it's sold as a kids' movie, but you got to aim a little bit higher. Because, like I said, there's nuance in under all the wackiness that older kids are going to get. And
oh, yes.
Sadly, this did nothing for anybody in this movie. The director, At De Jong, who I think has a very great visual eye, who could handle special effects. Rick Mayall, nothing really happened in his career. Phoebe Cates kind of wrapped it up after this. I think she did like 1 or 2 other movies. And, it was one of the first productions from Working Title Films, who are big now. They did, Notting Hill and Four Weddings and a Funeral, and I think they produced Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that. And this is one of their first productions they did with American distribution with New Line Cinema, and it just, whatever reason, critics fucking hated it. It did okay, $14 million, huge on video. But was lost for a while. You could not find it on DVD. You couldn't get it on Blu-ray. And if you are interested in it, there's a small company that I used to mock because they used to put out garbage. But they just put out an unbelievably exquisite edition of Drop Dead Fred on Blu-ray. And, I mean, it's now owned by Universal, so that means they're tapping into a much bigger catalog. And this is run by just like 4 or 5 guys who just love movies. They're not some massive corporation. So they put a lot of love and care into their... I can't stop hyping them up, and I feel bad for joking about them for so long.
Yeah!
Hey, let me ask you this real quick. I forgot about the Doors. I want to double back a little bit. What's your favorite Doors song?
Oh, gosh. That is a bit of a... Break On Through?
Yeah, truly great one. My favorite is an Off Kilter song. I don't know the whole name of it, but Take Me to the Next Whiskey Bar.
Oh
no, Show Me to the Next Whiskey Bar.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no, I know. I heard that from The World's End. But then realizing that the Doors were the ones who sang it, I'm like, oh, geez, well, knowing how much of an alcoholic Jim became, that makes sense.
Right. But, okay, now back to Drop Dead Fred. Let me ask you this. Is there any movie that's kind of, like, hard to find that you would love to see on a Blu-ray? Like, if you owned your own company, what's a movie that you would pick up and distribute and give, like, the works?
Oh, God, Drop Dead Fred. As far as, like, all the... Oh, yeah, I want Real Genius on Blu-ray.
Sure. I think it's just coming out now, but I want special edition. Like Real Genius, they could get some good interviews and deleted scenes, but mine is Fright Night 2. I can't believe it's still lost. Oh my god, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it definitely has its. Honestly, it definitely has its charm, and it really does elevate what goes on as far as like the whole, supernatural elements, of vampirism, even more so in the second one.
That company, whatever reason, there's a dozen films they produce that have never made it beyond like either bare bones DVD or no DVD whatsoever. And I think, if I remember correctly, it's connected to the Menendez brothers because their dad ran the smaller division of Caracol, to bring it back to Caracol. And the day that he greenlit Fright Night 3, he went home and got killed by his children. And I think somehow it's part of their legacy. Like, the Menendez brothers can't make any money off of it. But they own the rights or something like that. It's weird. So there's like a dozen movies out there that are lost, and it drives me nuts that Fright Night 2 isn't available.
Damn, yeah. No, gosh. Knowing the backstory behind that. Oh, God, I need a drink.
Crazy.
Oh, I knew it. Slink. Oh, God, there's one thing I want to mention about Drop Dead Fred. Tim Matheson, when he's like talking to that girl he's having an affair with, over the phone, I'm your fella. I'm like, oh God,
he's such a good sleaze, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Oh my God, again, seriously, I know. It's like you really want to punch him in the face, especially when he's just talking over Phoebe Cates at the beginning when they're discussing their divorce, and he's trying to, project onto her that she wanted it to happen.
Yeah. Tim Matheson was for years was pushed as a lead after Animal House, and for some reason it just didn't work. And it was when he kind of turned into either like a father figure
A
a
villain.
sleaze, yeah, like Fletch. You know, he's great in that. He's great in this. Yeah, he has a very pivotal role in She's All That as Freddie Prinze Jr.'s dad. And he's very pushy. He's just one of these guys that constantly pops in and out. He's Van Wilder's dad.
Yeah, makes sense. You know, considering like his part ownership of National Lampoon.
Yeah, in 1989 he bought the rights to National Lampoon for a few years and then sold it off to a different guy. But he also produced a movie based on Zatoichi. Do you know the blind swordsman Zatoichi?
Yeah. Oh, is that the one with not the one with Rutger Hauer? Is it?
It is the one with Rutger Hauer. He bought the
Oh.
American rights to Zatoichi, and he produced Blind Fury, and I believe it's the only movie that he's ever produced.
Wow.
Yeah, wild. Yeah, I think this is a really good movie, very entertaining. Marsha Mason is simultaneously, at least for me since I'm 45, hot and annoying. And then they're just,
Oh God, no! I mean, seriously, considering like how she was, oh my God, it's like she plays that part so well. It's like if you meet her in life, I'm like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
you just give me a death stare. But you could tell though, there was that one scene when they're having coffee in the kitchen, and you know Rick Mayall just like kind of gets away from her. He's like, oh, she killed me with the death breath. You can tell she looks at him, but as soon as like the camera focuses off her. Do you think she was probably trying to keep it together, like not laugh her ass off?
Yeah, I can see that. You know who's having a blast in this is Carrie Fisher. Holy shit. Is this
Oh,
her
yeah.
last performance?
One of them.
You know, where she was one of the main cast, but it was not a cameo.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, because she's barely in the last two Star Wars movies, right? I can't remember. Last Jedi, she's in quite a bit of it, actually. But, you know, she was on that streak for a few years.
Yes, Rise of Skywalker, of course, they had to recycle footage.
Yeah, and so
But-
you know, then she started becoming a writer and started cleaning up scripts and stuff like that. So it seemed like after Drop Dead Fred and Soap Dish are kind of like the end of her run.
Yes, I would see so, especially considering she was rehabilitating and just dealing with her like mental health as well.
Right. And Ron Eldard is so adorable as the potential boyfriend. I've never seen him so young, and he's just like, oh, he's so adorable and likable.
Oh my God! But like, that scene where the freaking houseboat sinks. Like, oh no! So many moments where I just.
But then she got all that
God.
money. She's like, I didn't know historical riverboats were worth this much. Thank you.
I know that she was pretty much thanking Fred. Yeah, that's what this is talking about. It's like, you know, I think confronting, you know, our emotional trauma, and then of course Fred being this, you know, big savior.
Yeah, and I love the little girl, the younger version of her, when they're having their conversation. It's so natural, especially when they're doing like the mud pie.
Yeah.
I was like, that kid is good. The crying
That
scene, not so
opening-
much, but the improv, the playing around was great.
Oh God, no! That opening scene though, like, well, after her mom's explanation of fairy tales and like, you know, an obedient princess, and she's like, "What a pile of shit." That's the funniest delivery of that line from a kid ever.
You know what Drop Dead Fred has that a lot of the movies around this era have, and I kind of miss, is the animated opening that kind of gives you intro to that world.
Yeah, no, of course, yes. This is completely a kid, you know, this is a kid's view kind of world. Hence, like all the drawings and just like the misspellings and all that. It was purposeful.
The fourth and final film is Thelma and Louise, a very groundbreaking, necessary. You know, it's trying to show you, you know, women can be leads, and there had been a little bit before that, like the Terminator and Aliens, and but those are really the only ones I can think of that were successful. And we started getting a little bit more like with The Accused. I feel like Married to the Mob, but Thelma and Louise really cements that these two girls can be fucking badasses, and they don't need no man. And I don't mean that.
Oh,
woke.
no.
If you, by the way, if you ever say woke to me in a negative way or SJW, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you're a fucking idiot.
Especially coming from their point of view, it's definitely patriarchal.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what this was. It was like anti-patriarchal and, you know, strong and feminine.
Yeah, you know, there's
And it needed to be.
It's a lot of the subtext is about submission and the fact they refuse to, and either force a submission in the attempted rape and the previous rape that Susan Sarandon had dealt with, and the fact that Well, Michael Madsen's more understanding, but Chris McDonald's a fucking asshole, and he treats her like she's a little girl, like she's a child that needs to be taken care of and told what to do.
Right, exactly, and it's like you can't blame her for leaving him at all.
No, and he mastered the asshole thing. And by the way, in 90s movies, if it wasn't Tim Matheson, it was Chris McDonald.
Exactly, I was about to say that he's like that in almost every fucking movie.
I told you I met Chris McDonald, right?
Oh no, shit, that's awesome.
I want to say 2007 or 8 or something like that. I can't remember. No, we went to Lake Arrowhead Film Festival, and he was one of the guests of honors that was going to get the award and honor or whatever. And I came into the buffet room or banquet room, whatever they're having it, and I walk in. Chris McDonald's walking out. We're the only ones in there, and I go, "Hi," and he just does the Shooter McGavin thing at me, and I was like,
that's so fucking cool. Yeah.
That was fun.
No, dude, that's pretty humbling, though.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to know him from that.
This is kind of a comeback for Ridley Scott. I think the previous movies that he did before this are all fantastic, but none of them were successful. People forget, between Alien and Thelma and Louise, most of these movies did not make money or broke even.
Oh, yeah. Blade Runner, of course.
Yeah, and Legend.
Yeah, sadly, which I think are still beautiful movies to watch.
Someone to Watch Over Me, I think that broke even. That had Tom Berenger and Mimi Rogers. And then Black Rain broke even with Michael Douglas. All these great movies. In fact, Ridley Scott, I think, has only made movies that kind of bore me recently. I'm sorry. I could not finish Last Duel or House of Gucci. I just didn't care.
I haven't watched House of Gucci yet, but Last Duel, I'm like, damn, this is pretty fucking spot on. And I can never be disappointed with Adam Driver.
No, everybody loved Last Duel. Maybe I just don't have the attention span for it, or maybe I need to get off my fucking phone, but I didn't care for it.
And of course, like, it coming out after sometime around the pandemic, it just goes to show, like, this isn't the kind of movie that people well, I mean, the pandemic's still going on, but around the time it did come out, like, not everyone wanted to go to the movies to see this kind of movie.
Right. And the world's changing now. The pandemic forced two things. For studios to rethink what they're putting out because it costs so much to distribute and promote, that sometimes you either need to distribute it yourself or you need to sell it to another company. The world is changing. These medium budget, kind of adult, sophisticated movies really don't play. And it's sad because that means the budgets are going to get smaller and smaller and the studios are going to take less risks. So, yeah. But Thelma and Louise, I think, would be one of those movies where even today it would play well in theaters. And
oh, God, yeah.
It's just a really powerful performance. It really set... Susan Sarandon was already kind of set as a lead, but Gina Davis struggled, I think, between The Fly and this. Earth Girls Are Easy. There's Accidental Tourist, which did well. I can't think of anything else. Transylvania 65000's in there somewhere.
And then, of course, there was Beetlejuice.
Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I forgot Beetlejuice is big, too, so I'm going to shut up. But this also got her action movies. Susan Sarandon didn't go in that direction. She's still stuck with dramas. But after this, you have, Long Kiss Goodnight and Cutthroat Island. I feel like there's another one in there somewhere. Oh, well, League of Their Own is not an action movie, but it's tougher, I guess, if you want to say. They show her as an athlete. And she was really on a run here where she was just nailing it on the head with these great movies. Even if they weren't successful financially, they were good. I'll stand by Cutthroat Island. I'm sorry, I will.
I don't know. It's been so long since I watched Cutthroat Island.
Oh, yeah, we're going to watch it.
Oh, for sure. You got it. Now, that was a Beetlejuice laugh, wasn't
it? Nice fucking model.
Oh, yeah. But, of course, yeah. Also, Harvey Keitel, he may have been going after them. But I felt like he really was trying to give them another chance. It's like, well,
really. Yeah, a lot of sympathy. This is also a big comeback for Harvey Keitel, who had not done. I could not tell you what he did for a decade before this. And after this, he started getting more studio work. He did Reservoir Dogs. He did Point of No Return, Pulp Fiction. People started getting his name out there. He was never really a studio guy, but they're more willing to add him in as in supporting roles while he did the independent stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah. Again, he dearly that one scene though that I also want to mention, Brad Pitt and being interrogated. Harvey Keitel is the one who's really laying it down to him. Like, he's keeping him updated on what he just contributed to and who exactly they are.
Yeah, this is the movie where he solidified the hand thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where he kind of like takes his hand, forks it forward. Do you know what I mean? Where he's like, he just kind of his whole open hand as he's talking. I wish you could see me right now, but that's how he does it. And I think this is where it started.
Yeah, I would have to say that too. But again, yeah, he was just his character was a little bit of a shit. I mean, he took their fucking
was
money.
a rotten little shit, yeah. And then this is another one where they tried to make him a star, but it took a little while. Oh,
absolutely. But I love that scene where he just lays that into Christopher McDonald that he got it off of Gina Davis. I mean, considering like Christopher McDonald's such an asshole, like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they're right. Southwest truck drivers, you guys are assholes. There's no fucking rules. You don't give a shit. We almost got hit so many times. It was very, very stressful. If you're a good one, great, but so a lot of fucking assholes. So I imagine why that guy was like, the real Southern guy, hey, baby, come on over here.
Oh, yeah, that one honking at him trying to get their attention.
Yeah.
And then they, of course, they give him attention only so they can rob him.
I remember someone trying to argue because they couldn't deal with the fact that they killed themselves. How long would they have served, really, though? Susan Sarandon, maybe, because she shot the guy, but Gina Davis wouldn't, but whatever. Someone was trying to argue. It's like, well, they're going really fast. They could probably get to the other side. It's like, what?
No, they can't. No, they fucking could not.
There's no way.
on that rugged-ass terrain, and, yeah, no. Sorry.
What are the chances that 2 out of the 4 movies that we just discussed would be parodied in Wayne's World 2?
I know. Exactly. Oh, shit. Of course, yeah, keeping a tradition with the first Wayne's World, it's like, let's do the different ending. Let's do this ending. Oh, wait, let's do the mega happy ending.
Yeah. I can't wait to get to 92. We're talking in like a 2-month period. We got White Man Can't Jump, My Cousin Vinny, Wayne's World. I feel like there's another one in there, but 92 is really strong for comedies.
Oh, absolutely.
Mo Money.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, you know what I do want to say when we're thinking about Thelma and Louise? That the person that Susan Sarandon did shoot, there's only one thing I wish she did do. Should have just gone full RoboCop and shot him in the dick.
Yep, shoot him in the dick.
Go for the dick.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that shirt that says, "You remember that time RoboCop shot that guy in the dick"?
No.
It's a shirt you could buy. I can't remember the website, but I'll look it up because they also have a shirt that I saw that I want that says "Fuck you, I am hilarious."
Well, metaphorically, that is the way to deal with the patriarchy. You got to go for the dick. But yeah, no, I loved how that one waitress, when Harvey Keitel's interviewing, like, yeah, no, if anything, he deserved it. He was a real sleaze and an asshole.
Yeah. So, I really think they would have got some more leniency, really. But whatever, it's... They're together in the afterlife at peace, I guess. It's fiction.
Sadly,
what am I talking about?
It kept piling on, and especially in some states. Yeah, no, some states will just have no fucking mercy.
Yeah. All right, so that is the end of this episode. Our next episode is going to be The Hard Way. What about Bob? City Slickers and probably Mobsters. I have to see it again. Did you watch it? Because I can't remember if it's good or not.
Yes, I did, actually.
And?
I'm like, I felt like very quick pace.
So it's worth discussing and watching, even if it's bad. Here's the thing is, I don't care if a movie's bad. I just want to be entertained.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely give it another watch.
Okay, will do. It's the Young Guns of Mobsters, basically. So that is it. Check us out on Facebook and all the podcast hosts and Twitter under Hit Rewind Podcast. And Jacob, send us out.
All right. Namaste and good luck, my friends.
And party on, dudes. Well, I really redlined that fucker. Jeez.